Listen to me. If there was a wise man who would ever think of this, they would say in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. For I am the man himself.
What is going on, and welcome back. How you guys doing all on this Saturday afternoon? This is the Club of the Man 1993, and we are here to talk about Monday Night Raw, the May 6th, 2024 edition of Monday Night Raw, and it took place in Hartford, Connecticut, and we've officially begun the King and Queen of the Ring tournaments for 2024. Which will culminate, of course, at King and Queen of the Ring, which takes place not next Saturday, but the following Saturday, 2 weeks from today, in Saudi Arabia. The tournament began, of course, we had, on this show, for the Raw bracket, we had 3 first-round matches, both for the men and the women. There are a few others supposed to be taking place today for both Raw and SmackDown at some live event. I know on SmackDown, we got Mia Yim and Tiffany Stratton. I can't remember if they were for sure doing LA Knight and Santos Escobar today, or if they were waiting until next Friday to do those. But we did have, I know we're having Zelina Vega and Shayna Baszler for the Women for Raw go at it today. And for the men, Kofi Kingston versus Xavier. No. Way off. Kofi Kingston versus Rey Mysterio. Happening today as well at a live event. And I'm very interested to see how this King of the Ring tournament goes under Triple H. If it was up to me, I would honestly, and this is just me, even though it would make the card kind of long, I personally would have the semifinals, which would be the finals for Raw and the finals for SmackDown. Those 2 matches kick off the King of the Ring pay-per-view. And then later to show you do the finals, the winner from Raw versus the winner from SmackDown. Have more than just the finals for both the men and the women for the pay-per-view, in my opinion. Of course, based off of what was announced on SmackDown last night, which we'll talk about SmackDown later on, it looks like if they did that, because I am going to try to work on my card predictions as well this weekend as well for King of the Ring. If I'm being honest, it looks like if that is the case, there could be 9 matches on the card. Which, yes, is a lot. But to me, if they don't do more than just the finals for the King and finals for the Queen, like, again, at least do Raw's and SmackDown's finals for both. There's 4 matches there. And then the other 2 matches, which would be the finals for the women, finals for the men. I feel like they should have more than just the finals, honestly, at the what's it called? At the pay-per-view. And of course, there is, as of now, 3 championship matches announced as well. 2 of them are from Raw. So we'll see how that, of course, plays out. Now, as far as the Raw side of things go, looking at the brackets, the Raw side definitely interests me a lot more than the SmackDown side. I feel like the SmackDown side is a little more obvious, I will say. I'm not quite a fan, especially of the women's, where I think that they're going to be going with the women's SmackDown bracket. We'll talk about that, of course, in my SmackDown review. And even the men's, too. Like, based off of who got inserted into the tournament this week, I'm starting to believe they may not be going with Gunther winning this. Because originally, I thought the favorite to win was Gunther. But then someone else got inserted. And based off of where I think they're going on the SmackDown side, I think I see what may be getting ready to happen. But again, I have to watch both my Raw review and SmackDown reviews, which again, both should be uploaded today, hopefully, to find out my full thoughts of what I think about all this. So, without further ado, let's get right into this review. So the show starts off again with the Judgment Day coming out. And Damian Priest talks about Jey Uso and how France loved him. But it won't matter because he's still the champ and he's talking about what happened with Judgment Day. Finn says they went over it 100 times and he and JD meant it when they apologized. Priest says they're good. He accepts the apology. He needs everyone to know that what went down after the match was on him for losing his cool. They were just trying to support him as champion, and that he's sincerely thankful for. And tells JD he appreciates him and that Finn is his brother, and they hug it out. Dom, of course, awkwardly joins in for the hug from behind since he has his arm in a sling. And Damian Priest gets back to business. He's still champ. They're still the most dominating faction in the business. And Finn is going to be your next king of the ring. And then Finn Balor, though, starts to mention how Drew McIntyre is not cleared to compete. And he had to be pulled from the tournament. So he is expecting a first round bye. And he's asked for Samantha Irvin to announce him as a winner. Moving on to the semifinals for Raw. But then comes Adam Pearce, who comes out as like, nada, you ain't gonna buy. He says, I need the rest of Judgment Day to clear the ring. Because what happened at Backlash ain't happening tonight. You will be wrestling your first round match tonight, right now, against, main event Jey Uso. That's right. Jey Uso replaces Drew McIntyre in the tournament. Which completely, in my opinion, changed the direction I think they're going with this tournament. So first, we'll talk about that at the end. The match happened. Match was good. I don't think there was really any involvement from the Judgment Day except for whenever Drew McIntyre came out during the crowd and he was obviously pissed. Out of all people who replaced him in the tournament, it had to be somebody he's got history with, and that is Jey Uso. But despite all that, Jey was still able to pull off the victory. Surprisingly. So Jey was moving on to the next round, and he's facing the winner of one of the best matches on the show, and in the tournament for sure so far. The winner between Ricochet and the Mad Dragon himself, Ilja Dragunov. We'll talk about that in a little bit as well. That was, quite a match there. Drew McIntyre is then arguing with Adam Pearce about not being cleared. And Pearce makes it clear that it's his fault for admitting his arm was jacked up. Drew then gets in his car and drives off, obviously pissed off. As he drives away, though, pulling up behind him is CM Punk. And I think Punk did a little, wave as Drew was leaving. And then Pearce then addresses Punk for being late and informs him he just missed Drew. Punk also tells him, play his music. I got something to say. So he makes his way out. He apologizes for being late and says he had a weekend and got locked in headquarters in Stamford and then drove straight here to be with us. He reminds us of the promo he cut in less time than Drew McIntyre was world champion. Since he can't pick a fight and McIntyre left, what if we go over time today and just wait for him to come back? How does that sound? While we wait though, he wants to tell us a story. He tells us about how McIntyre tore his tricep in the Rumble from a Future Shock DDT. And he was angry, thinking Drew ruined his WrestleMania dreams. But after a good cry and a great surgery, he picked himself back up. McIntyre didn't ruin anything. He just delayed it. He's what they call in baseball a 5-tool player. That's what Punk believes he is. But McIntyre, though, he's just a tool. And we're still waiting. For weeks that turn into months, he has to tune into this show and listen to Drew run his mouth about him. And Drew picked a fight with the pettiest man on the roster. This is probably my favorite line in the promo. He asked Drew if he hates him or if he hates himself. Because Drew calls himself a choke artist. And I think Punk said something like that. I could be a choke artist as well. Like I give out guillotines or something like that. And you knew that was firing a shot at Jack Perry right there. And AEW. Which, of course, I cracked up at that. And I know I just posted a video a week saying how I can't say how some people all they rely on is just shoots and whatnot. Which, again, an occasional shoot like that is fine. But when it's AEW and all they do is shoot, because that's all they can do to grab attention, then that bothers me. But it's like, okay, throw a jab in there, but get right back to work. Anyway, that's all Punk was. But anyways, he also says, he talks a bit longer and says the fact that he's not coming, and it proves that Drew is not coming back and that he is just afraid of Punk. So another little promo kind of go, hey y'all, I'm here. This is to keep this feud alive pretty much. So again, we'll see how this gets to. I don't know. Again, I still feel like they may give Drew a title shot at Clash at the Castle. Of course, I feel like if they did it though, he wants something like a steel cage or something where Punk can't interfere. But who knows now? I'm not sure which direction they're going with this, but I still feel like they made up with it for Drew at WrestleMania, have him win in front of a crowd. I really feel like they should have him win the title at Clash at the Castle, but we'll see how that goes. Ricochet was being interviewed before his match against Ilja Dragunov when his former tag team partner Braun Strowman rolls up and basically tells Ricochet to go get him. So I don't know if they're teasing them reuniting as a tag team for that Zor before Bron got hurt, but we'll see. Io Sky then took on Natalya in the first of the Queen of the Ring matches. And the match was good. Again, I know Natty's booked like crap, but give her a good match, give her the time, she can put on a great match. And Io as well, too. Like, I still feel at times there have not been too many matches where it didn't feel like they were holding Io back. And this was one of the matches that felt like, they were letting her go free. Which they need to more often because she is that good in the ring. It was a good match. As expected, though, Io did win with her moonsault. And she's going to be facing the winner of either Shayna Baszler or the former Queen of the Ring winner, Zelina Vega. So, of course, we'll see how that goes down. Afterwards, Dakota Kai and Kairi Sane get into the ring, and Dakota cuts a promo, putting over Io, saying she's going to stand in for Asuka, who is also injured as well, which sucks. And she's going to wrestle Lyra Valkyria later on in the night. This next match, though. This next match, Ricochet versus Ilja Dragunov. Oh my gosh. Man. Do I love Ilja Dragunov. This man, I feel like he combines intensity with emotion, if that even makes sense. He will get very emotionally invested into the work he does, while also hitting you as hard as he can. He does not hold back. And just literally some people like a Ricochet or even like a Gunther, because they've had 2 matches before in the past, he really makes anyone look like $1 million when they get in the ring. I am dead serious. Those freaking H-bomb elbows he throws are wicked. His Torpedo Moscow, which got countered into the recoil as well. Still a sick move as well, which is for sure. But these two just tore it up and had an absolute clinic. It was just great maneuvers, just great hard hitting. Again, I don't think Ricochet has ever looked so strong in a loss before, because Dragunov does win with a second H-bomb where Ricochet is literally laying on his back, and he literally just like, and then Ilja just like jumps up. It's like he's throwing like a Superman elbow right into the side of his face. It looks like something that for real could hurt very badly, but it's just, man, what a move. What a talent too. Again, Dragunov is something unique. He does get the win, and afterwards him and Ricochet show sportsmanship and shake hands on it. Now though, the next round is going to be for sure Jey Uso versus Ilja Dragunov. I don't know how I feel about that, but again, when we get to the very, very end, we will talk about it. Sheamus in an interview backstage talking about his upcoming match with Gunther. And he says it's no secret him and Gunther don't like each other. And everybody knows they've had banger after banger after banger. Well, they only had 2 matches up until this night. And he's finally going to kick his arse and become a 2-time King of the Ring tonight in the main event. Cool. Zoey Stark and Ivy Nile. The match was fine. The crowd, though, just was not really into the women's matches, though, on the show, unfortunately. And that's sad. Because I thought these two did go out there and put on a really good match. But the crowd not being into it, not going to lie, kind of took me out of it a wee bit. But Zoey eventually does win with the Z360. And she is moving on to face the winner of Lyra Valkyria and Dakota Kai, who wrestled, of course, later on in the show. We have a backstage. Well, first we have R-Truth chatting with Adam Pearce. And he brings out Dan Hurley, and Miz asks him to stop making title matches for them. And Truth says it's cool because Hurley coaches for a small-time indie promotion, the NCAA. And, of course, everybody's like, bickering a little bit. And then as Adam Pearce goes to leave them, we have Braun Breaker rolling up going, yo, boss, why ain't I in King of the Ring? And Pearce said, let's go to the office and chat about it. What they chat about, I have no idea. So we never saw them again. Finn Balor was upset backstage about losing, and Priest consoles him, and JD blames that on Braun Strowman for hurting him. Priest says JD's going to take care of Braun, and Dom Mysterio, though, rolls up with a new friend in Carlito. But Damian tells him to get out and says he hasn't forgiven him for last year after what happened at Backlash in Puerto Rico. And Carlito then says that's the past and the Judgment Day hero is cool. And when it doesn't move Damian Priest, he tries to tell him that this is just how this works. You scratch each other's backs and the other scratches back. Damian then tells him to get out. So I guess we're going to have Carlito kind of be the Latino man chatting up with Dominic Mysterio now instead of Santos. I would have rather done Santos, but whatever. Big Bronson, Reed, and Chad Gable ended in a disqualification because Sami Zayn got involved and attacked Chad Gable. And Brady sets up for a triple threat match for the Intercontinental title at King and Queen of the Ring. I'm thinking that's where Chad finally does win the title, if I'm being honest. What else we got here? First, Gunther has a promo about his match with Sheamus. He doesn't care about having a banger. He just cares about being the greatest of all time. And he's having to expose Sheamus on his way to winning King of the Ring. So that's set up for the main event again. Becky Lynch came out next for like an interview with Michael Cole. And it was basically an interview where it felt like it was just like a typical, fighting workhorse champion promo. Putting over, some names they would like to fight. And then being interrupted by completely somebody else and them going, "You didn't mention me." Which, we've heard that promo, like, how many times? Not every champion has to be like that, if I'm being honest, especially if you're a babyface champion. But I think it won't last for long. Because interrupting her was Liv Morgan. And Liv says she's mad Becky didn't mention her as a possible opponent. And then she runs down her credentials before asking when she getting that title match that Becky offered. Becky says it'll happen at the King and Queen of the Ring pay-per-view. And she reminds Liv that, you never beat me. Liv admits that, you're right. But the thing is, she was missing purpose. Now she has a purpose, which I do like that line. And then, of course, Damage Control came out. They talked some trash before they surrounded Becky and Liv, and then Liv just bailed on Becky. Still showing that, those seeds of those heel turns are planting pretty darn fast. So, like I said, I have a feeling they could maybe give her the title at King of the Ring. Will they, though? We'll see. As they're beaten down, Lyra Valkyria came out, though, to save Becky since Liv ditched her. And then we had Dakota Kai take on Lyra Valkyria. And like Zoey and Ivy, I do like both of these women. I definitely think Lyra Valkyria is definitely super underrated and super undervalued. She's going to be great in the roster. Heck, if they want to give her a run with like Becky Lynch to be like tag champ, something like that, I can see that happening. But the crowd just was not in it at all, unfortunately. Lyra, though, does get the victory. So she does move on to the next round against Zoey Stark. So, for the women, in the quarterfinals, we got Io versus either Shayna Baszler or Zelina Vega. We have, what are women that? Zoey over Ivy Nile. And then we just had Lyra Valkyria beat Dakota Kai. And then for the men, for Raw, we have Gunther and Sheamus still to come. We got Finn Balor and Jey Uso, Ilja Dragunov, and Ricochet. So we have that. Then we have Sheamus versus Gunther. Match again was outstanding as expected. Some good near falls. I just don't quite understand this though. Is that why is it that if a referee does catch the talent outside the ring and ejects them, why isn't he calling that a disqualification? Because clearly, if the referee knew that Ludwig had put Sheamus's knee onto the ropes, he would have disqualified him. I don't get why they couldn't be any disqualifications. There wasn't any announcement of no DQs. But it is what it is. Still awesome match. These two have excellent chemistry. Again, I like that they created a little bit of a doubt whenever Ludwig got ejected. But they beat the hell out of each other. And Sheamus had to get his knee worked on like crazy for Gunther to get him to tap out, which he won. And then Sheamus announced on Twitter that he will never fight Gunther again. 3-0 is where it stands, which I'm just like, nah. If Gunther ever gets a title against somebody, which I know he will, they gotta have Sheamus at one point beat him for something. Just something at one point. I think so. But that was Raw, guys. As I mentioned before, the Raw side for King and Queen of the Ring definitely interests me more than the SmackDown side, if I'm being honest. The thing, though, is I really wanted the finals to come down to Gunther and Ilja Dragunov. However, based off of some advances and some growing in popularity, I'm really wondering if they may put it on Jay instead. So, of course, with that reasoning, though, of course, I can't give it away yet, but we'll talk about, of course, SmackDown, why I think they're going to have Jay get to the finals. I think he'll probably still win it, because I have a theory about something, but we'll just have to wait and see when we get there. But yeah, the Raw side was good. I gave the show a B. I think that's a reasonable grade, a B for this show that was mainly this qualifying matches for the winner of King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring. But they had other stuff there as well too, so a very well done, executed show. So guys, that's going to do it. I'm checking out. I'll be back here in a little bit again to do my SmackDown review. And yeah, I gave this week's show a B. What are your guys' thoughts on the King of the Ring tournament so far? And of course, your thoughts on Raw and whatever you guys want to talk about. Make sure you guys leave your thoughts again down in the comment section below. Be sure also, as always, to slap a like on the video and subscribe for more content to come to my channel. You may follow me on Twitter as well at the Club with the Man 93. You may also follow me on TikTok and Instagram at the Club with the Man 1993. And until then, guys, I'm checking out. I'll catch you guys all later, and do not forget, in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. And for I am the man himself, and that is not just an opinion, my friends. That is a fact of life. Yeah!